What is up, college football fans? What is up, Clemson Tiger fans? Happy Sunday to everybody. Early morning edition here in the low country of South Carolina. Basically sunrise, and yes, it's cold. But you guys know what I say every week, and I mean it. Every day above ground is a great day as far as I'm concerned, and every day is a great day to be a Clemson Tiger. So we're on the downside of the hill now. More than halfway through the regular season. So now it's time to evaluate this football team from what they've done so far this season and what's coming up and where we think they want to go and how they can get there. And if they can get there, and if they do get there, how is that going to look? So, look, ever since the Georgia game, Clemson's been on a tear, obviously. On cruise control is more probably a better description. You guys keep coming down on me every time I say Clemson's on a tear right now. You know, well, you haven't played anybody. Everybody sucks. I understand all that. But they've been blowing teams out for the most part. But this is by far from, rather, a perfect football team. They got a lot of things they need to clean up. Offensively, now, if I would have told you heading into the season, or even after the Georgia game for that matter, that one side of the ball would be ranked in the top 10 nationally, and the other side of the ball wouldn't even be in the top 50 nationally. Now, I'm talking about total offense and defense. You would have said, okay, well, clearly, the offense is going to be ranked in the 50s, and the defense is going to be ranked in the top 10. Well, that's not the case. It's the exact opposite. And look, I understand that the argument about, well, we're blowing these teams out, so we are playing every guy that's dressing out. We're playing our second and third string. I'm playing a water boy in the fourth quarter, and we're allowing these teams to score a lot of fourth quarter late points, and that is true. But there's still, look, we've had top 10 defenses in the past with Brent Venables many, many times over, and the same thing was true then. We had top 10 offense, top 10 defense, so we were blowing these teams out, but we still didn't slip into the 50s defensively. And if you look at the schedule coming up after the bye, this is where it gets sticky. Because after the bye, we've got to play Louisville. We get them at home. Louisville can score. Louisville will be the best. Well, I'm trying to think here. Who's the best offense we've played so far outside of Georgia? Well, who's the best offense we've played in the ACC? Virginia? Probably. Louisville's offense is better than Virginia's. And Virginia put up 31 points yesterday. So that's an issue. Then you look past that, Virginia Tech. Then you look past that, Pitt on the road. I think Pitt has a top 10 offense in the nation. I think they're right there with Clemson. They're ranked right next to each other. 7th and 8th or 6th and 7th or something like that. So Pitt's offense is no joke. So eventually you could get caught slipping. The first string defense is not really the issue here. It's the depth. Although I still think there's some things on the first string defense that need cleaned up too. For whatever reason, the tackling's been terrible as a whole this year. The defensive linemen. When you look at Parker and Capehart and what's his face, Peter Woods. These are elite defensive NFL caliber defensive linemen. So we're getting the pass rush, but on the second and third level, the tackling has diminished over the past couple of years. Not only is the tackling diminished, they just don't look as prepared. I didn't expect Wes Goodwin to come in after Brent Venables and all of a sudden look like the 85 Bears defense or anything. But one thing you really never saw under Brent Venables when he was leading that defense is that no matter what, they were always looked prepared and well coached. And we're not seeing that this year. And again, I'm willing to give them a pass based on the opponents we've played and the way and the game situations where they're allowing a lot of late game points. But they just don't look as prepared. Just going back to yesterday against Virginia, I could count probably 5 or 6 plays where they were just completely unprepared for the snap, out of position. They're all pointing at each other like, people are confused. At least 14 points came off of that. The two big plays, the two big passing plays that resulted in touchdowns for Virginia was just Clemson being out of position and not knowing what was going on before the snap. And I understand Tony Elliott likes to run a hurry-up offense with Virginia, and I think that a lot of that has to do with the lack of talent compared to, somebody like Clemson, where they can get you on your heels. But in a potential playoff situation, hell, forget playoffs. I'm getting way ahead of myself now. A potential ACC championship situation against a team like Miami, that could become a real problem. Don't look now, but Miami has the number one scoring offense in the nation. And I don't know what they are total offense, but they're one of the best offenses in the country, one of the best quarterbacks in the country, one of the best wide receiver rooms in the country, one of the best tight ends rooms in the country, NFL running back. This could be a real problem for Clemson when you go down the stretch here against teams, like I said, like Louisville, Pitt, eventually maybe Miami. If they make it that far, this could be a real problem. And if somehow they still get their way into the playoffs, whether it's through an automatic bid through winning a conference championship or if it's through at-large bid, you're going to face offenses in the playoffs that are 10 times better than anything that you've seen so far this year. Now, luckily, Clemson's offense appears to be good enough for the most part, if they're healthy, to get into a shootout situation with some of these playoff caliber teams. But I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. So the depth on Clemson's defense, the drop off from the first string to the second and third string is massive. And it's really hard to win at a high level deep into the postseason if you don't have the depth that some of these other teams have defensively. So, I mean, at this point of the season, there's really nothing you can do about it. I mean, what they really need to do is during this bye week is, number one, get healthy on defense and offense, but on defense, get healthy. Some of these guys are banged up, and go back to square one, man. Let's take it back to the fundamentals, tackling. You know what? The other thing I noticed is, so Barrett Carter, linebacker, star linebacker for Clemson, he's the quote-unquote quarterback of the defense. He's the one that now they have the speakers and the helmets. He's the one with the green dot or whatever, so he's getting the information from Wes Goodwin from the sideline, and he's divvying that information out to the rest of the defense. I'm not sure that he's the guy that should be doing it. Now, look, I understand. I'm not at practice. He's the most experienced. I'm assuming he's the smartest. That's why they give him the green dot. But ever since they started putting these microphones in the helmets, that seems to cause more issues on defense than helping things. A lot of confusion. I don't know if he's focusing more on what's coming in through the speakers than just his natural instinct. Do you understand what I'm saying here? I don't know. Something seems off there at the linebacker position. And again, you've got Barrett Carter, Woodaz, and this freshman Sammy Brown. I mean, these are three elite linebackers, but they haven't played at an elite level as a whole all year. So I don't know, giving up the big plays. So they need to tighten some things up on defense for sure, going into the final stretch of the regular season here. Offensively, yesterday, more of the same. I mean, I could just read you stats, basically copy and paste every offensive statistic for the past 6 weeks, and that's what you saw yesterday. 500-something yards of offense. Cade Klubnik with 300 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. He did have one bad interception, which was really weird, by the way. There's really no explanation for that, other than that he just didn't even see the guy. He was seeing ghosts out there. It was a really bad interception. I'm not making excuses for him. But anyway, again, same thing with spreading the ball around. Brenningstool had another great game. Just spreading the ball around. Antonio Williams with a rushing touchdown and another pass that almost went for a touchdown in the red zone. Another jumbo package with Peter Woods and DeMonte Capehart. Another 2-touchdown day by Phil Moffitt. I mean, it's really just kind of rinse and repeat. But again, we're getting into the stretch now. We're going to start be playing better competition than what we've been seeing the past 6 weeks. So they need to tighten it up, man. And Cade Klubnik was a little bit off yesterday. He wasn't terrible, but he missed a couple of wide open receivers, overthrown, and then again that bad interception. I don't know. This team, they need to. You don't really see that fire and that spark. We saw it the week after the Georgia loss because they were hungry then. They were getting their name dragged through the mud throughout national media and idiots like me on the internet. And everybody was saying, "Oh God, watch out! They're going to lose to App State. Clemson's no good." Blah blah. You guys know the story. And they went out there and just absolutely destroyed them. They looked hungry. They had a fire in them. That fire is starting to fizzle out a little bit. So we need that fire back. Otherwise, like I said, you can't afford to not have that fire down the stretch here with the best teams we're playing in the ACC are over the next month or so. So we'll see what happens. Of course, everybody leave your comment below and hit the subscribe button and all that good stuff. Let me know what's your grade overall for the Clemson football team so far in 2024 down the home stretch of the regular season here, both offensively and defensively. If you had to change one thing about either side of the ball, what would it be? Have a good day.